So we are less than 1 week away from one of my most anticipated films of the year, Matt Reeves' The Batman. And I know me and a lot of other YouTubers have made so many contents and videos talking about The Batman, but I wanted to make one more video, one more discussion talking about The Batman before we actually get to see it on March the 4th. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about why I definitely do think The Batman will be great, why I think this film would truly be fantastic, and why I actually do believe that this could be the best Batman film we've gotten since Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. We're going to talk about all of this on today's video. Hello everybody, my name is Daniel and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here and you love movie content like this on a weekly basis, please consider clicking that subscribe button and hit that post notification bell so you guys never miss when I upload another video. And if you guys do go to enjoy today's video, please consider clicking that like button if you do go to enjoy. So without that further ado, let's get into the video. So this film is directed by Matt Reeves, and Matt Reeves has done some incredible work, and I definitely do think this is going to be one of the reasons why The Batman will be fantastic. Just look at his two Planet of the Apes films. Dawn and War of the Planet of the Apes are two excellently crafted blockbusters. Why? Well, he's able to go from really emotional and very philosophical looks on life and redemption and revenge, but also make an ape on horseback not seem completely ridiculous or completely out of place. And I definitely do think Matt Reeves is a perfect choice to direct a Batman film, because he can make philosophical and he can do really great character stuff, but he can also do really exciting and really well done action sequences. I think this is going to be one of the things that holds The Batman as an incredible film is Matt Reeves has a style. Just look at the way he lends the films. Just look at the way Gotham City is being presented. Just look at the way the action sequences are being presented. No Batman film to this day has felt like this. No Batman film has looked like this. No Batman film has sounded like this or is presented like this. This has its completely own unique identity. This film is also going to be a noir mystery film. It's also going to be nearly 3 hours long. So Matt Reeves' stylistical choice, I think, is perfect to direct the Batman film. And speaking of noir mystery, another thing that I think is going to make the Batman an amazing film is we're actually going to see what makes Batman the world's greatest detective. Because in the past films, we've seen glimpses of it. Christopher Nolan did a bit of it. The filmmakers that have helmed Batman films in the past haven't really been interested in making Batman the world's greatest detective. They like the brawler, they like the dark trauma character, but they don't really like the world's greatest detective, or they didn't really know how to use it well. Matt Reeves is making a almost psychological thriller in a way. And I also definitely do think this will be the darkest Batman film. Yes, it's PG-13, but Matt Reeves has said that he did not cut anything out to get that PG-13 rating. So from start to finish, this film was always going to be PG-13. It's not like the film was R-rated, but then you had to trim it down to make it PG-13. So some people were disappointed that this film did not get an R rating, but when I heard that Matt Reeves didn't cut anything out to get that PG-13 rating, that got me really excited, and that got me high hopes. But back to the mystery thing, this looks like Seven meets Batman, which is not a bad combo at all. I know a lot of people have been comparing these two films, but that's not a bad combo at all. I love mystery, like psychological thrillers, and a noir dark mystery in the Batman universe with the Riddler, which we'll get to in a second, as the main villain, just gets me so freaking excited. And I'm so excited to see what Matt Reeves does with this more dark and very serious and more mature mystery. Speaking of the Riddler, I am so excited to see a mature and dark version of the Riddler, and Paul Dano is a terrific act, a serious Riddler. I'm so excited to see a dark Riddler, and I'm so excited to see him and Batman go back and forth. The world's greatest detective versus one of the smartest guys in Gotham City, and I'm so excited to see how their two brilliant minds can go head to head, and that's what makes the Riddler, in my opinion, maybe the second best Batman villain, obviously behind the Joker, is that brilliant mind that he can mentally match Batman. Obviously, he couldn't do it physically. Bane is, the brute, but Riddler and the Joker, they can match Batman psychologically, and they know just what buttons to press, and I'm so excited to see what Matt Reeves does with this version of the Riddler, and a much more dark and probably tragic character like the Riddler is in the comics. Speaking of tragic characters, Robert Pattinson as Batman. When Robert Pattinson as Batman was announced and confirmed, like most people, I was not very sure. And it wasn't just because of his past roles, in Twilight, that was forever ago, and I know he did more stuff. I watched some of the other stuff he'd done after Twilight. I'm like, he's a really good actor. But a really good actor doesn't mean he can play Batman. We got some of leaked images and some confirmed set photos, and I wasn't really sold on it. But then we got the first trailer. And the moment that sold me that he could be a great Batman was this moment right here. That moment just alone sold me that he is going to have grit and intensity that we haven't seen from Batman in a really, really long time. He looks like he could be more brutal than Ben Affleck's Batman, which is really hard to beat. But also, he looks like he's going to be a really good Bruce Wayne. And how I judge a great Batman is, do I care about Bruce Wayne as much as I care about Batman? That's why Christian Bale is my favorite actor to impersonate this role, is because I cared about his Bruce Wayne maybe a bit more than I cared about his Batman. And I'm hoping I care about Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne as well as I care about Batman. I hope I care about him with or without the cowl, and I'm sure I will, because Robert Pattinson is a great actor, but I'm just hoping, and I really do hope, that he brings something different to the role, because this character has been played so many times. There's been so many different portrayals and version, both in live action and in animation, so I'm hoping Robert Pattinson found his own identity. This doesn't feel like anything we've seen before, because the Batsuit is very similar to what we saw maybe in the Dark Knight films. It's a bit armored. The voice is very similar, which is totally fine. It's very hard to find something new and unique, but still feels like Batman and feel like Bruce Wayne. And I hope I care about his Batman just as much as I care about his Bruce Wayne. And this whole cast looks absolutely stacked. We got Colin Farrell as the Penguin, Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon, Andy Serkis as Alfred. This cast looks absolutely stacked. Another thing that I think will make this film great is the world of Gotham City. This is a different Gotham than we've seen. It's not LA like we saw in the Nolan films. It's not this ridiculously goofy Tim Burton-esque world that we saw in the Tim Burton Batman films. It still feels real and gritty, but still feels comic booky. And I think it does ride the line between Nolan-esque realistic and comic book-esque, Gotham City. I think it ride that line really well. The city looks dirty, it looks gritty, and I think there is really going to be this sense of style. This film also looks like it's going to have style. The action sequences obviously look terrific and great, and I'm really hoping that this film finds its own identity. I hope it's not just the Nolan films light. I do have some worries with this film, and I'm not gonna talk about them in this video, because this is about why I think it's gonna be great. But I definitely do think that this film stylistically is going to be something completely new. I think the director is going to give us something we haven't seen before. I think the casting is going to be great. I'm excited to see Robert Pattinson, what he does with the Batman. I'm excited to see Paul Dano and what he does with the Riddler. I'm excited to see the action sequences. I'm excited to see the mystery unfold. And this film is nearly 3 hours long. It's going to be it's the longest Batman film, like just Batman, solo Batman film in existence. So I'm hoping this film earns that runtime. I hope this film isn't just long for the sake of long. I hope the film doesn't have too many characters. I hope the film can balance everything. And my expectations for this film is so high, and we're going to see very, very soon. In less than a week, we're going to see if the Batman lives up to my insane expectations. But those were some reasons why I think the Batman will be great. What are some of the things you guys think about this film down in the comment section below? As always, guys, if you guys did enjoy this video, you can hit the like button and subscribe if you guys are new. You guys can also check out my Instagram at daniel.movies and my podcast, The Movie View Podcast, where I talk about movies and a whole bunch of general nonsense. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep talking movies.